What if you were physically harmed? The person is insane, or you were exposed to a pattern of emotional abuse in a work or personal situation in which you depend financially. Just forgive and forget. This is Rev Andrew Bozeman, and you are watching On the Wings of Your Mind. Now, last week, one of our viewers posted this question. What if you were physically harmed? The person is insane, or you are exposed to a pattern of emotional abuse in a work or personal situation on which you depend financially. Just forgive and forget? Well, let me answer the last part of that question first. Now, the idea of just forgive and forget implies that the actions of the offending party are condoned. Forgiving is not condoning bad behavior. Forgiving is not even letting the other person off the hook. Most of the time, the other person either does not know what pain they've caused, or they don't care what pain they've caused, or they feel that they were right and you were wrong anyway. In none of those cases do they feel like they must be forgiven. So what is forgiveness? Well, it's a powerful act of self-growth. In the act of forgiveness, you are deciding to release yourself from the prison of your ego's fear of being inadequate, your ego's fear of being dependent on others for your validation. You're letting go of the need to be recognized by someone else who really has no power to recognize you in the first place. Forgiving is accepting the fact that you are a great deal more than an insignificant being who is no value to the world without the approval of others. Not true. Instead, you are a being of light who is of value to the world just because you exist. As Marianne Williamson states in her poem, Our Greatest Fear, she says, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, handsome, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. So do you just forgive and forget? No, not in that sense. But you will find that when you forgive, when you release yourself from that pain and emotion of that injury, it will fade into your memory as just another incident that happened in your life. Please click on the thumbs up button below, and if you have not already done so, please choose to subscribe. As for the rest of the question, what if you were physically harmed? The person is insane, or you are exposed to a pattern of emotional abuse in a work or personal situation in which you depend financially. Well, if you're being physically harmed, get help, get out of there, report it to the authorities. Get that other person arrested if necessary. Forgiving does not mean letting someone hurt you. There are laws to protect you, and there are people who will help you if you reach out to them. After you're out of danger, then the process of healing begins. There are a series of steps to take in the process of forgiveness. The first step, as I said, is get to safety. Put yourself in a place where you feel you are safe from physical or emotional harm. A place where you can relax, a place where you can take some time and think. The next step is to take the time to process what has happened to you and allow your body to proceed through the healing process. Don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out why it happened. There is no way you will ever really know the answer to that question. There is no way for you to know why. But what you want to be clear on is how it affected you, how you feel about what happened to you. The next step is to get your story out of your head and into the world. Keeping it bottled up inside your head can cause it to hang much longer than it needs to, and it just whirls around and around and around and around, and it builds up and it gets confusing. And no, You need to get it out into the world. You need to hear it. So find a couple of people you can trust and tell the story to them. Telling it out loud gives your ears a chance to hear it so that it can be examined from a different part of your consciousness. See, while it's still in your head, you can only hear it in your internal sensors. But when you say it out loud and you get a chance to hear what you're saying, then it comes out differently. It sounds different. It gives you some level of clarity that you didn't have before. Doesn't need to be told over and over and over again. The temptation to keep repeating your tale of woe can become an obsession and an attention-seeking tool which can cause others to eventually avoid you and your story. Next, begin the process of making yourself feel better. Take care of you. Treat yourself as if you are the most important person in your life, because you are. Next, begin the process of letting it go, of forgiving it. Now understand that forgiveness is for you and not for anyone else. This is your thing. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation with the person that hurt you, and it does not mean that you're condoning their action. Forgiveness is your pathway to peace. Forgiveness can be defined as the peace and understanding that comes from removing the sting from the thing that hurt you. To begin viewing it as more a life experience, a life-enhancing experience, and less as a personal attack meant to destroy you. A life experience. That's what it was. It was a life experience. It taught you something, and you will see it as you get more distance from it and get a better look at it. Remember the 4 agreements. Remember we talked about the 4 agreements a few days ago. And one of the 4 agreements was, don't take it personally. So eventually, it'll become a story about something that happened in your life rather than your life's story. It begins to fade in significance. Don't take it personally. As time goes by, you'll learn to take a step back, and you'll realize that if you're still feeling emotional distress from the memory, that the pain you're feeling is actually coming from the hurt feelings, the thoughts and physical upset you are suffering now. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what happened then and what happened now. It's all now as far as the brain is concerned. So if you're going back over a painful situation and you're still feeling all this emotional turmoil and pain as a result of it, it's because you're still locked in that space. You have not moved forward. You are still in the past. So get out of the past, come into the present, and deal with what's happening now. It's the only way you'll grow. Forgiving, letting go of that pain. Forgiving heals the pain. Forgiving relegates it to the past. And it frees you to live in the present, to live in the now. Now, what you can do when you find yourself in that situation, when you're going back in time, you're thinking about this event, and you're still feeling upset and turmoil and pain because of it, then go through these steps. Breathe deeply. That begins, and as you exhale, you're beginning to release the tension and the negative energy that is a part of that experience. Breathe deeply and reorient yourself to the present. It's like, look around you and see you are here now. You're not there. You're here now. You're no longer in that place where you were hurt. You're in a place where you're safe. So the only pain you're feeling is the mental pain you're going through because you're locked into the past. So let that go. Realize that you are no longer the person who was hurt. You really aren't. You've learned from that experience. You've acquired new tools for living a fuller life. You've moved on. Even if you tried to stay there, you actually have moved on. You've made some changes. Your body is always changing physically. Your cells are always regenerating themselves. So even though you may try to stay back there, you are actually a different person. And so look at it as a different person. That was then, this is now. Next, you should give up expecting things from other people that they cannot or choose not to give you. People are not going to give you what you want. The only one who will give you what you want is you. So don't have expectations of people giving you something that you're lacking. You have to find it in yourself. Remind yourself that you deserve health, you deserve love, peace, prosperity, and set your mind to getting what you deserve. Your mind, you deserve. Recognize that there are unenforceable rules you may have to release or deal with, that unenforceable rules about what you want other people to do for you. You can't make people do things for you. You can't get out of people what they're unwilling to give freely. So realize that those rules that you have in your head about what you want out of life and what you want people to do for you are not enforceable. That's what you may like, but they're not things that you can enforce upon other people. Realize also, as you're thinking about that and realizing that these rules are unenforceable, that you have a mind which is a very powerful tool for getting what you want. So realize what it is that you want and become what it is that you want to be. And you will then attract people who agree with you. So what do you want to be? What do you want to have in your life? What do you have to be in order to get what you want in life? What do you dream of becoming? Well, in your mind, make yourself that. Elevate yourself to that point. And as you begin to see yourself in that way, then what's going to happen is you will begin to attract people to you who fit the pattern, who will also agree with you that you're the wonderful person you believe you are. Remember, as I mentioned several weeks ago, from a talk by Reverend Bonnie Woods, your vibe attracts your tribe. So your vibration, as you change your vibration, as you elevate your vibration, you're going to attract people to you who are in tune with that vibration. Please click on the thumbs up button below. Choose to subscribe if you already have it. The final part of that original question, what if you're exposed to a pattern of emotional abuse in a work or personal situation on which you depend financially? Again, you want to get to a place of safety. In this case, however, it's a little more difficult because the danger is ongoing and you're locked into it because of financial dependency. Well, remember, first of all, very importantly, you are becoming a spiritual warrior. And as a spiritual warrior, you're becoming more and more aware of the creative power of your own thoughts, your mind. Your mind is powerful. So your thoughts can create a change. So what you do is create a scenario in your mind in which the problem has been solved. Create a problem in your mind that either that person is no longer a part of your life, or you and that person are getting along much better and actually like each other. Whatever you want it to be, imagine that situation. Imagine that situation in your mind. Hold no malice toward the person who is offending you or mistreating you, because understand they're probably acting out of fear. There's something they're afraid of. So don't hold it against them. wish them well, surround them in light, not in darkness, surround them in light, and insert yourself fully into the scenario as a participant, not as an observer. So I'm not saying visualize and watch it happen. I'm saying visualize and be in the middle of it, be in it. You are there. Let yourself be there. Imagine in your imagination, speak the words that you envision happening. Hear the responses to your words. Feel the environment. Touch things as if you were really there. Be aware of the sounds around you, the smells around you. All of that, if you were really there, be there, be there, be there. Allow yourself to be there. Now do this exercise just before you fall asleep at night or right after you wake up in the morning, because that's when your subconscious is most receptive. And really let yourself be there. Really get into it and envision that scenario where this problem no longer exists. Either that person is gone or you are getting along very well and enjoying each other's company. Whatever. Conduct yourself throughout the rest of the day after you've done this exercise as if it's already happened. You know it's happening. You know that for sure it is happening. And because you know for sure it's happening, you feel good. You feel good because of it. You feel good because you know the changes are occurring. You may not see it now, but you know it's happening. And when you do that, rest assured, that situation will change. So the point of today's talk, in answering the question about forgiveness posed by one of our viewers, is to show you that forgiveness is an internal process. It's all up to you and your mind, because your mind is where the changes in your life happen. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence is all there is. So if you have any questions about forgiveness, if you have any questions about anything, or you have any subject that you would like to have discussed, I'd be glad to cover it in the future. Just go to the chat box on the right side of the screen. I think it's over there. And type it in the chat box. And we will cover it. I will respond in my future broadcast. By the way, I will not be broadcasting tomorrow, Tuesday, August 4th. I will not broadcast, but I will return on Wednesday, August 5th. Please click on the thumbs up button below. Choose to subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's continue with the work of elevating your consciousness to that of a spiritual warrior. Spiritual warrior is what you're becoming, and learning to use the power of your mind. Just a reminder of what we're doing in this part of the program. Now, I'll be reciting a few affirmations and asking you to repeat them after me. I'm asking you to repeat them after me as I say them, because we'll be using the I word. I. Now, what happens there is that as you are repeating it using the I word, it becomes yours. Now, some people reject the concept of affirmations because it involves declaring something that either has not happened yet in their conscious mind world, or they don't believe what they're saying. I understand the argument. But since you're repeating after me, rather than originating the affirmation, it becomes easier for your subconscious to accept what is being said. Eventually, your subconscious will accept and experience what being said is true in the present, and it will act accordingly. So, let us move forward. Let us begin the work. As you breathe slowly and deeply, I'm going to, after the affirmations, I will follow it with a prayer. You don't have to repeat the prayer because that's what I'm using to seal the deal. So, breathing slowly and deeply. Slowly and deeply. Now repeat after me. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. I am an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. Number 2, I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. I know that infinite intelligence is expressing in me as me. Number 3, starting now, I choose forgiveness because forgiveness releases me from pain, anger, resentment, and shame. Starting now, I choose forgiveness because forgiveness releases me from pain and anger and resentment and shame. Starting now, I choose forgiveness because forgiveness releases me from pain and anger and resentment and shame. Number 4, starting now, I release the need to make it about me, and I will no longer take it personally. Starting now, I release the need to make it about me, and I will no longer take it personally. Starting now, I release the need to make it about me, and I will no longer take it personally. Number 5, today I forgive myself and I release the energy that was locked in my past to be available to me now. Today I forgive myself and I release the energy that was locked in my past to be available to me now. Today I forgive myself and I release the energy that was locked in my past to be available to me now. And now I will pray. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us all here together in this life so that we may join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of forgiveness. We open our minds and hearts to your power so that we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives. We know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in anger and pain. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive, our connections will grow stronger and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. I would appreciate it greatly if you click on the thumbs up button. Choose to subscribe if you already haven't. I look forward to seeing your comments, questions in the chat box. And I am Rev Andrew Bozeman. And this has been On the Wings of Your Mind.